An adventure playground for lawyers. This bill is terrible for business, but it is great employment for lawyers. I know the Prime Minister loves the legal profession, but he needs to stop being a lawyer and start being a leader. This is
absolutely brutal. In front of the entire House, the Prime Minister was just called out for peddling a bill so ridiculous, so damaging. It's being called a legal feeding frenzy. And what did he do in response? Flail, deflect, collapse. The Prime Minister just got publicly eviscerated over a so-called employment bill that's turning into a national punchline. If you care about truth, business, and holding power accountable, hit subscribe. We cut through the spin every week. The clash ignited when the leader of the opposition exposed a devastating contradiction in the government's so-called growth agenda. Just hours earlier, the Chancellor had hailed a raft of economic policies claiming they would go further and faster in delivering growth, but the opposition wasn't buying it.
Mr. Speaker, when Conservatives left office, we had the fastest economic growth in the G7. But what is the government doing for growth now? It's destroying it. Let's look at the employment bill.
Instead, the Labour leader cut straight to the point. With those words, the room snapped to attention. Then came the bombshell, the employment bill, yet the centerpiece of the government's legislative agenda, and would, according to the government's own figures, cost businesses £5 billion a year. That's right, a bill meant to stimulate growth is actually suffocating it. The opposition demanded a straight answer. Will he drop it? Cornered, the Prime Minister tried to spin the bill as pro-worker, saying,
drop his bill and show that he is not anti-growth.
Mr. Speaker, we believe in giving people proper dignity and protection at work. That's why we're proud of our record supporting workers. They consistently vote against any protection for working people. And her consistent refrain is that there should be less. But, Mr. Speaker, we are driving growth on behalf of working people. Good work rights are...
But that's not what businesses are saying. The Prime Minister desperately tried to reel off projects like the Oxford-Cambridge corridor and Old Trafford redevelopment, anything to distract from the reality of the bill.
Is to shrink pensions.
Mr. Speaker, all his ideas...
But the dodging only made it worse, because he refused to address the actual content of the employment bill. And more damningly, he didn't even seem to understand what's in it. The moment that confirmed the Prime Minister had lost control came shortly after, when the opposition leader dropped a real-world example that shook the chamber.
He had not made. He doesn't know what is going on in here or out there. Last week, I spoke to a woman running a business in Exeter. She is terrified of taking on new staff. She is struggling to keep her head above water.
And she's not alone. According to the Federation of Small Businesses, 92% of small employers are concerned about the employment bill. And here's the kicker. Clauses 1 through 6 of the bill would make it harder for businesses to hire, especially young people looking for their first job. So what did the opposition call it?
Often young people looking for their first job. This isn't an employment bill, it's an unemployment.
Then came the second strike. Clauses 8 and 9 of the same bill would increase entitlements, potentially costing businesses an extra £1 billion a year in sick pay. That's less money for hiring, more job cuts, and even higher prices for consumers. Still, the Prime Minister refused to budge.
Will he drop these measures from the bill?
No, Mr. Speaker.
But nobody was buying it, and when pressed further, he came completely unglued.
This is another measure in the bill that fails his growth test. Will he show some leadership and drop it?
Mr. Speaker, I understand she likes straight talking. She's talking absolute nonsense. She knows, and anybody who understands anything about the bill or any employment law will know you can't start in the morning and go to the tribunal in the afternoon. Now, Mr. Speaker, we know she's not a lawyer. She's clearly not a leader. If she keeps on like this, she is going to be the next lettuce.
That wasn't strength, it was panic. A Prime Minister mocking his opponent while unable to defend the contents of his own bill. The entire country heard the evasiveness, the fear, the collapse, and this was only the first half of the debate. By now, the Prime Minister was on the ropes, but the opposition wasn't done yet. They went in for the kill and exposed exactly who benefits from this shambolic bill.
Businesses, they are being hammered with yet more burdens. Who benefits, Mr. Speaker? Who benefits? It's the trade unions. It's the trade
You could feel the air tighten in the chamber. Then came the knockout punch. Part 4 of the bill is the biggest expansion of trade union powers in a generation. The opposition spelled it out.
1 alone reduces the notice period for strikes to just 1 week. Given strikes are catastrophic for growth, will he drop Part 4 of the bill?
Mr. Speaker,
This wasn't just ideological, it was a betrayal. A government claiming to prioritize growth while handing unprecedented power to the very forces that paralyze it. But the Prime Minister, still in denial.
it's good for working people and it's good for the economy. And she should keep up the seed.
Seriously? 1 week strike notice. Businesses blindsided. Productivity crippled. The government's own numbers predicting up to £5 billion in business losses. And he's calling it good for the economy? That's not leadership, that's self-destruction. The opposition saved the most brutal takedown for last.
Mr. Speaker, the arrogance of the Prime Minister is that he thinks that it's his government that creates growth.
She wasn't done.
That creates growth. Our economy is built by entrepreneurs, risk takers, and the hard graft of working people. They know that
Then she dropped a list of countries that are actually supporting their economies.
working people. They know that you can't tax your way to growth. You can't borrow your way to growth. You can't legislate your way to growth.
Boom, that line hit everyone. Labor looked extreme, the EU looked more pro-business. Even Argentina, yes, Argentina was positioned as a model of economic sanity. Then she sealed it.
Borrow your way to growth. You can't legislate your way to growth. Other countries are
Meanwhile, the Prime Minister, visibly rattled, could only throw mud.
growth tests.
She's got a nerve. They broke the economy, completely destroyed it. They broke the health service, completely destroyed it. They ruined us.
Empty fury, no defense. The verdict was clear. Labor has no idea how to grow an economy, but they sure know how to destroy one. While businesses are screaming, families are struggling, and investment is fleeing. We're left with a government more interested in protecting union power than actually fixing the economy. This isn't policy, it's betrayal. So if you're tired of watching leaders dodge, spin, and crumble when confronted with reality, hit subscribe. We're here to expose every lie every week because Britain deserves better.